Hi there, I'm Tanya Bennett, and it's time for another edition of Hump Day Holla. So today, I know a lot of us around the United States, anyhow, are feeling a little bit heavy. Yesterday, we had the verdict of the George Floyd case. And the conversation that I'm hearing arise from this is, how do we fix this? Where do we go from here? I think that we can all agree that yesterday's verdict is not some miraculous change that all of a sudden is going to make all things right. So where do we go? How do we fix this? So I was thinking this morning, as I was driving my son to school, I was looking and I was like, I could see peripheral vision. So when we drive, we see if we turn to the right, if we turn to the left, or if we look straight ahead. I think we can all agree that we can only see a certain distance in front of us or beside us. That's our peripheral vision, right? But we know that more exists outside of that peripheral vision. Granted, some of those places we know how to get to, but if we're going even further and further and further outside of our comfort zone, what do we usually do? We use a map, right? There's GPS that tells us the direction, which way to go. I think that's what makes this situation so challenging for our country and honestly the world. There is no map. We haven't gotten it right yet. And so in order to create a direction, in order to figure out a new destination, someone has to start mapping the way. So where does that start? Where does the map start? Well, I will tell you, in this polarized world that we live in, where any of us can decide which news that we want to listen to because it will feed what we already believe. What friends do we want to surround ourselves because they will tell us what we want to hear? It gets more and more challenging to find people to have that map. I wholeheartedly believe that the people that can draw the map are businesses. I wholeheartedly believe that change is going to start in corporate America and in small businesses. The reason I say that is because that's the one place we don't have a choice. We all have to get up and go to work. We have to figure out a way to connect with people in order to be effective, in order to make money, in order to work together and to execute. So I know some people are going to say, well, Tanya, businesses have been around and we still have these issues in the workplace. So what's the answer? So I will say that I live in Louisiana, and if I was going to try to drive to California, and I had a friend who lived in Louisiana but had moved to California, I think I would ask that person, what are the best ways to get there? Any roads you think I should avoid? Any places, avenues I need to go? Sure, I'm sure I could Google a map. I'm sure I could find something, but honestly, if I wanted the best path and map to get there, I would want someone who's been there. That starts with leadership. If we need a map to get there, then corporate America, small businesses, we have to invite people to the table that have seen a world that we have not seen. And let's face it, those people at the table are people of color and minorities. We have to invite people to the table that see a whole new perspective because they will shed light for us so that we can help together build a map on how to get forward. I know the answer lies with businesses, but in this day and age, businesses have to be bold. To be bold, what does that mean? Well, I'll tell you, to start, we have to have these conversations. As a white woman, I can tell you, it's uncomfortable to have this conversation. I am so scared that I'm going to say something wrong, that I'm going to do something wrong, that I might offend someone. But I'll tell you what, I know that if I do nothing, that's even worse. We can't do nothing anymore. I have preached and preached and preached for the last few months that change is uncomfortable. When we are starting a business, no matter what path we are on, whenever you start to do something that you aren't used to doing, it is uncomfortable. This is no different. But I wholeheartedly believe that there can be a map, and then we can create a map to a world that is going to look so much better, that is going to be so much more profitable, that is going to be so much more inclusive and filled with love. It may be a big dream, but I know it's possible. But in order for that to happen, we all have to do our part. So that's today's Hump Day Holla, peeps. I know it's not the normal motivational, but it's a conversation that needed to be had. So today, I just encourage you, have the uncomfortable conversations. Talk about those things that you're scared to talk about, because shame keeps us stuck. Don't be ashamed if you do it wrong. You don't know that you're doing it wrong unless you do it. You just got to start. I hope everyone is having a good week. I'll see you next week.